The bounty hunters. Emergency contact Bongani Chabalal, contact information. Hang on, Bike says, digging out his communicator and quickly going through it to get the hat's specific contact code. What, not me or the boss man? Tang asks amusedly. You're already here. You'll call the boss if things go wrong, but if things get weird we need further backup and the hat will bring it, and likely some local friends too. Bike answers and Tang sighs. What? Too reasonable an explanation. Nah, I'm just a bleh mood bleh, Tang remarks. Went through my firing drills feeling numb. You need to get laid. Bike teases Tang, and the receptionist of the cybernetic surgery center is suddenly paying a lot more attention to them. All right, form signed, paid in full, time to get jacked up. You know what? No, too easy, Tang says, refusing to rise to the bait. Oh, come on, I sent it right to you. Bike bemoans and Tang fist pumps a little. Sometimes the best gags are the ones aborted, Tang replies. What's your relationship? Family and friends only are allowed to witness. Sworn brothers and co-workers, closer than mere friends but not quite family. Bike answers and Tang chuckles. Oh, so you consent to having him at hand and to speak for you? The receptionist asks, and Bike nods. Yes, I do. I trust him to have my back in a fight, and for this as well, Bike says. Ah, thanks, man. All right, Mr. Dark Engel? Drake Engel, Bike says. Dark Angel's not a bad name, but when your actual name means Dragon Angel, you want to keep it. And I'm Bora Tang, Tang says, mentally smirking at the fact that his nickname is just his last name. They couldn't find anything better, which made it a perfect punchline. Very well, the receptionist says. Follow the green line and it will lead you to surgery chamber 4. Both men glance up and see that it leads to the left. They thank her for her time as she sort of stares at them while trying not to. So how long do you think you telling me to get laid is going to stick in her brain? Tang asks after they leave the room, and Bike starts snickering evilly. You're an evil, awful man, and I love you like a brother. Thanks, Bike replies as they find surgery chamber 4. Both step in, and there's a large, ominous-looking table in the center of the room and several mechanical arms hanging from above. Tang quickly sits to the side on one of the oversized chairs for quadrupeds while cross-legged and with his long gun in front of him. Well, I can see someone's getting comfortable, Bike says, sitting in a proper bipedal chair. More room on these big honkers. If nothing's happening, I plan to do a quick weapons check on the blanket, Tang says calmly. Subtle threat and keeps you out of trouble. Good combo. Bike compliments just before the door opens. Hello, hello, I'm Dr. Shine, a pleasure to meet you, the robotic rabbi's woman exclaims. Her lower arms are carrying a tray with Bike's implant and a large data pad for programming things properly. Her upper ones are holding up another that she's reading out of the corner of her digital eyes. You don't cop gravid sensitivities, do you? Can we take the masks and such off? Tang asks, and she pauses before smiling. Of course. My goodness, those must be stuffy. Yes, please take them off. I do need to get past them in order to properly operate after all. She explains and lets out a gasp as both men immediately whip of the serapes and set them aside. Bandanas come down and fingers start running through hair. She turns to Tang. The armor needs to come off as well. I'm Bora, the friend and witness. He's Drake. Tang corrects her and she turns to Bike. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not exactly running around with name tags, but the armor does need to come off. Not questioning why I have it. Sweet circuits, no. Station like this, I'm surprised you're not going around in power armor. We don't have the implants for the military-grade ones, Bike says as he unclips his vest and sets it aside, followed by his personal shield belt. Oh, well, of course. Not you're here for an upper spinal output interface implant. You not only need that, but the other 5 supplementary input implants in order to properly use military-grade power armor. Input implants, isn't that really risky? No, they're too weak to actually control things and can only send in faint sensations. They are, however, powerful enough to give a series of signals that allow a skilled mech pilot to receive enormous amounts of information while fighting. A proper combat mech is a supercomputer, battleship, and artillery piece wrapped around the pilot. Dr. Shine explains. Then how the hell did we fight them off so easily after leaving cruel space? Tang asks out loud. Dr. Shine still can't suppress the slight gasp. Yes, the form said human, but to hear of them speak of cruel space so casually. All armor has weaknesses. The ones the pirates had were primed to be used against lightly armed targets and were not expecting kinetic weapons nor the sheer volume of fire we sent their way. Bike answers easily. Speaking of fire, watch my guns, will you? I know nothing's going to happen, but I like to know my guns are either properly stored or monitored. Oh yeah, sure, pass 'em. Tang replies and is handed the bandolier with the partially broken down machine gun from Bike and spare ammo magazines. Neither of them say anything about his hidden pistol or knife. Are those kinetic weapons? Yes. After we figured out that it would take our most powerful toys to break station laws, we relaxed away from the ablators and bangers. Not to say that these don't make a bang, but it's a very different one from the plasma rifle. Why would they make a bang? Do they break the sound barrier? Dr. Shine asks. Some, but it's mostly a controlled explosion through combustible powder. Fun stuff. Tang replies casually as he sets them down around him. His serape has already been arranged with his rifle over top of it, and with an expert flick, he starts to slowly disassemble the weapon. Bike inwardly smirks. He and J3 had gone head-to-head in dozens of competitions for who could put their gun together and bullseye a target at maximum range the fastest. When the contest was down to less than a minute, each they upped the ante and started doing it drunk or dizzy. There was one memorable occasion they did it, drunk and dizzy, but it was agreed to not be the topic of casual conversation anymore. It was, however, still the subject of the occasional bit of friendly blackmail. Right, very well. That should keep your friend busy for a while. Now, I'm going to walk you through the surgery, as receiving a cybernetic implant can be very stressful for first-timers. Captain Schmidt didn't have any issue with it, Tang remarks unhelpfully. He was under duress, had no time to feel nervous. Now shush. Bike scolds him and he shrugs. Right. Anyways, this is a very, very easy procedure. We're going to place this implant in the transporter. You're going to under a constant active scan to ensure that it enters and integrates properly with your body before we run a simple systems test on a nearby screen, Dr. Shine explains. Okay, what comes after that? Bike asks. What? What comes after that? You said this can be very stressful, but it sounds at most like it's mildly confusing then over with. But you'll suddenly have an entirely new portion of your body, and it will be right next to your spine. Dr. Shine protests. Does it cause pain? Tang asks, from where he's unscrewing the barrel of his rifle and checking it for even the slightest amount of dirt. No? Then what's the problem? Bike asks. A foreign body in your body. How is that not a problem? By not being a bee, is there a species out there whose basic description matches up with the word wimp? The Wimparas, Dr. Shine offers, and Bike pulls out his communicator and puts the strange new word in. MCO 1100-6. They look like someone took a lobster, took off the head and welded a woman into the stump before bending her upright. Lobster Centaur girls. Wow. How about pansy? Tang tries as Bike shows him the image of the Wimparas he brought up. Panceros, she offers, and Bike quickly looks them up and lets out a whistle. Big panther women, about the size of a lopin and very widely spread out, reclusive and stealthy. QMC 20 with the standard 1 to 100 is the designation. Bike reads out loud before flashing the borderline pornographic image of the panceros at Tang, whose eyebrows go up in appreciation. There's just something about fit woman slinking around with her back curved that does it for him. Yeah, that's not an insult. Damn, I need to start finding some new ones. Tang considers out loud as Bike snorts. Miss, my friend and I are professionals in a violent field. I'm not going to be bothered by a slightly weird feeling, Bike says politely. But this is your first implant. It's always the worst one. Dr. Shine insists. I'm sure I can handle you popping my cybernetic cherry. Bike deadpans and Tang damn near chokes on his spit, prompting Bike to fist pump in victory. Your cherry? Hold on, she says, turning away with a finger to her temple as the electronics on her flicker. Your small sweet fruit that comes in pairs? Well, that went into orbit for how above her head it is, Bike mutters as Tang takes a few gasping breaths. What's so funny? Shine demands crossly. He's implying that this is a form of virginity you're taking. Tang supplies and she jerks backwards in shock. What? Oh no, no. I would never take a man's virginity from him. Such a thing is utterly appalling and… Dr. Shine starts babbling and Bike quickly wraps his hands around her mouth. I know. It was a joke in poor taste. I apologize, he says and then takes his hands away. Could you please get started on the surgery? Yes, we can. Please don't make jokes like that. On this station, rumors can quickly spiral out of control, Dr. Shine says as she powers up the machine. Lie down face first, please, as comfortably as you can. Speaking of rumors, have you heard any interesting ones? Say about a man named Bongani, Bike asks, resting his chin on his arms as the machines lower and his implant is inserted into the largest arm extending downwards. You heard of that too? So romantic, Dr. Shine says as she presses a few buttons and a pale blue beam lights up to highlight the back of Bike's neck. Romantic? Tang asks with an enormous smile. In spite of him giving his attention to the conversation, he's still taking apart and minutely examining his rifle without missing a beat. Haven't you heard? Apparently he and Vexa are lovers separated by their jobs. He's some kind of pacifist war monk thing and the Crimson Hewers do not approve. There's supposed to be this hidden Tret monastery where they hunt Karneks for meat and materials and never seek to end the lives of a thinking being. Dr. Shine gushes as the machine lets out a humming sound and there's a sudden bulge in the back of Bike's neck. Oh, my God, Bike says slowly. I get to tell him, Tang blurts out. Only if I'm there with a camera. That one's going on the wall. If you can't make it in time, I'm hiring a crew to catch it. Maybe with the big girl there too. You know them. Dr. Shine is far from stupid, but the conversation only now let her get a word in edgewise. Read through the paperwork again, Doctor. Bongani is in my list of contacts. He's a co-worker, Bike says. Co-worker. What do you people do that need someone like Bongani around? He's one of the muscle guys. I'm the communications expert, and Tang here is a long-range precision shooter. Hello, Tang says as he starts to put the gun back together. We're bounty hunters. But we respect the station, so we're only testing to see which idiots with bounties are dumb enough to hit first. Those that aren't, we leave them alone. Those that are, we wrap up in tape and throw them in stasis for delivery. Perfectly in line with the rules of the station, and it gets the real idiots out of here, Bike explains. Does this kind of surgery normally make people this chatty? Tang asks, as he screws the barrel back on. The question has a bit of a point to it that he doesn't want to emphasize too much, but he does want it noticed. It's noticed. Yes, it's a side effect of the axiom beam that dulls any sensation of pain. It's kind of like smoking a double-sized blunt. When did you get that? Gymnasium Zurich im Vaterland. Leicht athletic. Man, you should know this, Bike protests, suddenly speaking with a brutally thick accent. I generally regard anyone who starts making claims of the things they've done in high school or higher education to be so full of bullshit that listening will give me methane poisoning. Tang remarks dryly and Bike laughs out loud. It was not that funny. Is to me. High as a fucking kite. Wait, Zinsven, do you speak German? I don't, but I've heard you talk more than a few times and took a guess. Wait, why was I speaking German? The language is beautiful and strong, but none here know. Oh, wow, this numbing beam is the good stuff, Bike realizes as he forces his accent away. And I'm about to turn it off. The implant is successfully installed, we just need to make sure it's properly calibrated, Dr. Shine says, and true enough, the beam turns off. Who? Woo! Wow, that was really good, Bike says as he shifts to sit upright. He then rubs the back of his neck and feels the small nub of metal sticking out. That's it? Unless you go full body, full conversion, or straight-up brain uploading, then all implants are designed to be as unobtrusive as possible. Now, yours has an output range of 2 meters and no input, meaning we need a feedback system as all you can do is issue commands and not receive any responses, Dr. Shine explains before unfolding a data slate from the operating table. Now, this is connected to 2 of the arms above you. They contain cameras, so you can look at your new implant with them. It also serves as excellent practice to... Dr. Shine is then cut off when one of the arms outright flails and slaps the mounting. Ease up, killer, Tang notes with a smile. A little less aggression next time. Dr. Shine advises him even as Tang finishes reassembling his rifle. He'd taken his sweet time both taking it apart and putting it back together. The arms above slowly come out of their resting positions this time and lower to look at him. He looks to the screen and the arms shift to show the back of his neck, revealing a tiny rounded-off chrome rectangle going sideways. Looks like a piece of jewelry more than anything, Bike says before pointing to Tang. Do not say it. Tang slowly closes his mouth with a devious smirk. The poor doctor has no idea what to make of the interaction. Now, gay! Tang taunts and receives a withering glare from Bike. What's the penalty for brawling in here? Bike asks. Severe, Dr. Shine says flatly. Ha! Tang taunts him. Eat a dog, you Korean prick. Jawohl, mein Führer. Really? You're swinging for the cheap seats. There are other seats to swing for? Oh my God, man, Bike says with a shake of his head and an almost involuntary chuckle.